Almost. It's, yeah. Yeah, it's the minute before, so. It's coming. From the dark end of the street to the bright side of the road, we'll be lovers once again on the bright side of the road. Little darling, come with me. Won't you help me share my load? From the dark end of the street to the bright side of the road. Into this life we're born, baby, sometimes I don't know why. Time seems to go by so fast, in the twinkling of an eye. Let's enjoy it while we can. Won't you help me share my load? From the dark end of the street to the bright side of the road. Into this life we're born, baby, sometimes I don't know why. Time seems to go by so fast, in the twinkling of an eye. Let's enjoy it while we can. Won't you help me sing my song? Little darling, come along to the bright side of the road. On the dark end of the street to the bright side of the road. Little darling, come along to the bright side of the road. We'll be lovers once again on the bright side of the road. Oh, we'll be lovers once again to the bright side of the road.
Thank you, Ray. Fabulous. Van Morrison on a Thursday night. Okay, does it get any better than that? Welcome, everybody. My name is Edie Janik, and I'm just smiling because I'm seeing faces that I get to see regularly, but I'm also seeing faces that I don't get to see often, and it's making me really happy. And y'all had a little challenge in settling down with all the greetings and everything. But that's beautiful. That's lovely. So as I said, my name is Edie Janik. I'm the MC for tonight. Dr. Maxine and Reverend Mike are traveling. They went to St. Francis, Kansas to visit with Reverend Mike's family, and now they're on their way, I think they went today, down to Boca to visit with Dr. Maxine's family. So you're stuck with me for the evening. We have a wonderful, wonderful night planned for you. It's a wonderful celebration, and we are so honored and excited to have Reverend Dr. Michelle Wadleigh here with us. And I have a pretty good feeling that the reason I'm seeing some faces I haven't seen in a while is because of you. So we're very happy to have you with us tonight. All right, so who are we? Well, first of all, we are here at the United Church of Christ in Wayne. It's actually United Church of Christ at Valley Forge in Wayne. And Thursday is the new Sunday. So we are here on Thursday evening. We are recording this evening's celebration, and we'll broadcast it on Sunday at 10:30 a.m. on YouTube. You can go to cslphilly.org, click on the Watch Now button, and check us out on Sunday. Tell your friends that weren't able to make it here tonight. And if you are watching on Sunday, I'm going to transport into the future and say thank you for tuning in and watching our rebroadcast of Thursday night's celebration. And if you're local, come down and check us out. So who are we? Greater Philadelphia Center for Spiritual Living. We are celebrating, I think we're in our 31st year of existence here. And we are a welcoming spiritual community. We honor all paths, draw from the truths of all different faith traditions. We study and practice the principles of the science of mind, which Ernest Holmes established, 100 years ago? Close to 100 years ago. So we are a community that is part of a greater community, the International Centers for Spiritual Living. And their mission is, and you all know it, awakening humanity to its spiritual magnificence. They also have a vision, and that is, say it with me if you want, a world that works for everyone. And we like to expand that to a world that works for all. So here at Greater Philadelphia Center for Spiritual Living, we also have our own mission statement, which is living, loving, learning, spirituality that works. All right, so I want to welcome everyone. Thank you for spending this evening with us. It's really great to see you all. And I'm going to talk more about our guest speaker a little later. But for now, we have an opening song. Thank you.
Welcome, you're welcome here. Welcome here, you're welcome here. Love, be loved here. Rest, be restful here. Fill up on God. Fill up on God. Fill up on God and just be. Welcome, you're welcome here. Love, be loved here. Rest, feel restful here. Fill up on God. Fill up on God. Fill up on God. just be.
I almost know all the words. Almost. All right, thank you, Ray. So I get to do Wee Wisdom today. And Mila, my counterpart, isn't able to be here tonight, but she wanted me to tell you all. She says hello. So I do have an interesting, it's a little personal experience that I had that I was going to use for Wee Wisdom. And so you all are going to need to be my participants in this. So I want you to imagine in your mind, and all the kids at home, take a moment to imagine in your mind that peace is waiting at the door. So get the vision in your mind that peace is waiting at the door. So if you're going to let peace in, what side of the door are you on, and where is peace? How many people pictured opening a door and peace is on the other side of it? I know I did the first time I contemplated this. But I read something recently that shifted the whole thing for me. And I happened to be on vacation, and I happened to be on the beach down in Cape May, and I literally yelled at my husband, who was fishing, and said, "Oh my gosh," my head just exploded. Because rather than having it be that we're opening the door to let peace in, let's consider a different vision. The peace, as are all of the qualities of God, life, light, love. I always get nervous when I do this in public that I'm going to forget them all 7. Joy, peace, power, and beauty, did I get it right? Are all inherent in us, and they're knocking on the door to be let out and expressed through us, rather than let into us. So peace is knocking at the door. And Ernest Holmes said it better, so I'm just going to read it to you. Okay, so this is from Science of Mind, September-October issue, in a Pondering the Pieces. So coming together, uniting the pieces, bringing peace. Holmes wrote, in Your Invisible Power, peace stands at the door of your consciousness and awaits your acceptance of it. So when I read that, I pictured opening a door and letting it in. However, it does not stand outside your door. I was like, how did you know that's what I was thinking? It does not stand outside your door, waiting for entrance, so much as it stands inside, waiting to be expressed in everything you do. So that blew my mind, and I wanted to share it with you and all of the youngsters, our tweens and teens, and contemplate that, and just extend it also to the other attributes of God: love, light, love, power, peace, beauty, joy, and let them out. So that's Wee Wisdom for today. Now I get to welcome our Vice President Extraordinaire, Monet Farrington, up to go over our announcements. I was going to start entertaining, but thankfully...
Hello. Hi. Hello, everyone. My name is Monet Farrington, and I am the VP of the Board of Trustees. Thank you. So I'm also on the AV team, so I apologize for the delay in getting up here. There will be a full moon ceremony tomorrow, Friday, October the 18th, from 7 p.m. to 8 p.m. at the Inspiration Cafe in Paoli. Thank you, Linda, for that. Save the date, a night of gratitude and community here on Wednesday, November the 27th, Thanksgiving Eve. We'll begin a half an hour early here in the sanctuary at 6:30 with a celebration of gratitude. Then gather in Fellowship Hall about 7:15 p.m. for a communal meal. Bring a dish to share if you wish, and everyone is welcome, including the UCC folks and others from the community. We'll be setting up tables and chairs and receiving your dishes from 5:30 to 6 p.m. Please go to our website, www.cslphilly.org, to register for those events that I've mentioned and other events as well. There will be a special offering basket at the back of the sanctuary. Actually, it's going to be at the table in the front. So there's going to be a basket in front of where Linda is sitting, and it is for CSL Asheville, as they and the larger community are still in need of contributions to rebuild after Hurricane Helene. Our special guest minister this evening has brought her dynamic new book, Shadow Work: A Spiritual Path to Healing and Integration, and will be available at fellowship time tonight to sign your copy of this amazing new work. And that's it. Thank you.
Thank you, Monet. And I have to say, I took a peek at some of the books that Reverend Michelle brought with her, and they're the kind that asks you questions and, here and there, and thoughtful activities to do and journaling, which is the kind I really love. So I'll be checking those out. Encourage you to do so also. And you're open to signing them for us tonight, right? Oh. Okay, so now I'd like to invite Cheryl Macklin up for meditation. Thank you.
Settle in to where you're sitting. And if you feel comfortable, close your eyes. We gather tonight to honor the presence that is so fully expressed in each and every person as we gather this evening. We know that God is all there is. As you settle in, breathe into your heart, into that center of love and spirit within. With each breath, settle in more deeply to that God within, knowing that that presence is also present in each and every one here and each and every one watching. What a gift we give when we express ourselves from that heart, from the truth. What a gift we give as we gently release anything that is unlike that truth of us, anything that keeps that door closed and doesn't allow us to share our gifts, share the truth of us. And as we intend and affirm that we wish to be all that we can be, to be an expression of God, we can begin to release anything that is keeping that door closed, anything that is keeping us from being the truth of who we are. So be with that possibility, that intention. Imagine what that would be like. Take a few minutes and just sit with your attention in your heart and the truth. How wonderful to feel free to be the truth of who we are, and to come to this place where that truth is affirmed and honored and welcomed. Knowing that we are each right where we are supposed to be, and everyone here is divinely guided throughout this evening together. I am so grateful for this opportunity to be here, right now, in this company, in this community, in this presence. I release my word into the law with the greatest gratitude. Thank you, God. Amen.
Thank you, Cheryl. So Sarah Funk, would you like to come up and provide us with our opening treatment and a reading? Thank you.
Oh, how wonderful to see all these faces out there. I'm going to read something first from the Science of Mind, Questions and Answers in the Science of Mind. Living affirmatively. We have determined to live affirmatively when we choose to see only good in everything, to have faith in the great inner something that animates, guides, directs, and loves us with a love beyond our understanding, and that fulfills our highest desires and supplies our every need. If conditions seem adverse and limiting, we who seek to live affirmatively, deliberately, and persistently ignore them as things having no power to affect us. We proceed to change them by looking through them to original cause. When our thought is so established, we let it rest there, knowing the law will do the rest. We who live affirmatively are unwavering believers in the goodness of life, the sureness of divine love and protection, and the infinite care of the Creator for its creation. Thus we have the master key to health, harmony, and success. I will do this treatment in the first person, and please take it for yourself if you so desire. Knowing there is only one power, it is the power of love, the greatest power that exists. And this lives within me and within everyone. As I move forward on my path, I get filled up. As Ray's song said, fill up on God. And that's what I do. Each day, at the beginning of the day, and each night before I go to sleep. Knowing that this power is always with me, can never leave me. It is who I am. And it gives me great joy and deep gratitude that this is so. And I release this treatment into the law, knowing it is acted upon and done. And together we say, and so it is.
Open the eyes of my heart, oh Spirit. Open the eyes of my heart. I want to see you. I want to see you. Open the eyes of my heart, oh Spirit. Open the eyes of my heart. I want to see you. I want to see you. Lift me up and lift me high to see far and wide. Pour out your power of love, awakening my sight. Open the eyes of my heart, oh Spirit. Open the eyes of my heart. I want to see you. I want to see you. Open the eyes of my heart, oh Spirit. Open the eyes of my heart. I want to see you. I want to see you. Lift me up and lift me high to see far and wide. Pour out your power of love, awakening my sight. Open the eyes of my heart, oh Spirit. Open the eyes of my heart. I want to see you. I want to see you. Open the eyes of my heart, oh Spirit. Open the eyes of my heart. I want to see you. I want to see you.
That's beautiful. Thank you, Ray. Thank you, Sarah. Thank you, Cheryl. All right. So let's get this party started. The Jersey Girls in the house. I'm going to share with you a little bit about Reverend Dr. Michelle Wadleigh. She's known as an inspiring and exciting coach, master teacher, speaker, workshop and retreat facilitator, and dynamic minister of religious science. She founded the Center for Spiritual Living, North Jersey. Told you she was a Jersey girl. Nearly 20 years ago, and is sought after for her unique, practical, compassionate, and passionate approach to mastering a fully expressed life. I've had the privilege of hearing and seeing her speak in the past, and you're in for a really, really great treat. Reverend Michelle is author of several books, the latest being Shadow Work. We have copies here. A Spiritual Path to Healing and Integration. Her bright wisdom parallels her infectious humor, and she cleverly brings about beautiful healings in people, particularly with her radical forgiveness work. Her inspiring presentations are not to be missed, so guess what? You're not going to miss it. All right, so without further ado, come on up and talk to us about the joy of authenticity. Thank you.
You're welcome. Sorry, good evening. What a fun thing being here on a evening. And this is great. It's great to be here. I've been in Philadelphia or Pennsylvania maybe 8 times, 10 times in the past year, and I have to apologize because I've been really rude about Pennsylvania in the past, so I apologize in advance. I have fallen in love with your state and its beauty, and it's great being here. So a few things I want to make sure I get covered. Number 1, I'd like you to repeat after me, if you will, please. Today is the most glorious day of my life. Thank you. And I want to tell you that this beloved man and his wife, I met in your community about 24 years ago, maybe a little bit longer, before I founded the center. You were looking for a minister back then, and I was coming once a month for a minute. And he was playing, and then I stole him as much as I could. And we've created some magic together, right, Ray? The very first, I don't do Easter. I do a Phoenix Rising experience. So we do the Phoenix shedding, and then we do the Phoenix Rising, because I'm a rebel in that way. And the first week is we always end the ceremony with a blessing. And I'll never forget it. It was so sacred. And Ray sat, it was the very first one. It was like a long time ago. And Ray sat there, and he had to play this whole time. He's just tinkling those strings like so sweetly as people came up to get a blessing. And at the end, I look over at him when the final person left. I look over, and he's just sitting there sobbing. I was like, oh. So we have had a great opportunity to create magic over the years. So I'm so happy to be back here. I know it's not Paoli anymore, but I'm so glad to be back here with you all and back with Ray and Jen. I also want to say that Katie, how do you say it? What's your name? KK. I apologize for not remembering you. Well, no, you know why it matters? Because we did, whenever the teen group that used to be wild and wonderful and huge was happening in the Northeast area, and they would say to me, can you host it? I'd always say yes. And I got in trouble a couple of times, to be honest with you. I had people wagging their finger at me for doing things without permission, but oh well. But I want to mention that because my son, who's now 28 and just got married last Saturday, you remembered him right away, and you said, how's Seth? And my son, who grew up in this movement, will not claim to be a religious scientist, of course, right? Of course. But he's still that person. Like, he's still that person that soaked up all the essence that you all loved upon him. So I just want to just say hey to the teen group, and it would be so lovely if we had that influence again. And then in your peace, I want to offer you a peace practice that we do at our community, well, not my community anymore. I left the pulpit back in January, but that I created and that they still do every Sunday. And it's really a sweet and mindful thing, and you just sparked it, Edie. So I'm going to ask you to once again repeat after me, but bring to mind, if you will, we have so many good reasons to want to do peace practices right now, right? So bring to mind something that particularly speaks to you in your heart. And then I'm going to ask you to repeat after me again, but first get present to whatever it is you want to hold peace for. And please, I am the peace I want to see. I know this peace for my family. I know this peace for this community. And this community knows this peace for the world. Thank you. Thank you. So I'm speaking again today, and I'm on a little bit of a run about speaking about authenticity. I'm not one of those people that writes a talk and then repeats it all the time, so it goes hither and thither. But the idea of authenticity matters to me a lot. And what I like about speaking about it, it wasn't like I tried to talk about authenticity. Authenticity became a conversation that I started having after all the other work that I was doing. I've been doing shadow work and forgiveness work for decades now. And what I didn't realize was happening is that I was kind of backing into being my authentic self. I didn't really see that coming. It just kind of happened. And there are real rewards for doing the work. There are real rewards for doing the work. And when I'm around people who don't do the work, when I'm around people who I see are in pain, when I'm around people who I could see are not comfortable in their own skin, do you know what I'm talking about? Anybody here feel that sometimes you're not quite comfortable in your own skin? That's because we haven't learned to love all of us exactly as we are. We haven't learned to completely love the good parts and the not good parts and the foibles and the mistakes. And I'm queen of mistakes. You know, the thing about being a minister is that when we fail, we do so publicly. We do. We screw up, and it's very public. It's not always fun, but I've had to do it many times. And there were times in my life where my back, I always had issues with I used to have issues with my back. It always came after a very busy holiday season, and by the time January could come, I was either missing a Sunday or two, or I'd be like this, like crooked with a cane. That's how twisted up I got from exhausting myself and not practicing self-care. And I had someone question me one time, well, how can you stand there and teach when you're in so much pain and your back is out? Ouch. Just ouch. Because somehow we have garnered this idea that that perfection looks like a certain thing and authenticity looks like in a certain way. And I'm telling you, right now, I'm having a very human experience. And sometimes the human experience isn't that much fun. Have you noticed that? Anybody else having a little bit of a human experience, a health thing, a divorce, money, a job change, or whatever those things are? Yes, you're able to handle it. Of course. I mean, you're going to be fine. And sometimes it's tough. You know, when I started down the road, I mean, I've been a metaphysician my whole life. That's all I've ever been. And then when I started down the road of Science of Mind, I too thought life was supposed to be easy. What I learned was that it wasn't that life got easy. I learned how to navigate it. I learned how to survive the tough moments. And I have survived many tough moments. I stand here before you not as someone who lived with this privilege that comes that most people have experienced. I come to you as someone who had to crawl out of a hole, a true hole, and I'm not going to explain that tonight because it's too big and too bleh for tonight. But the fact is, I stand here as a result of the work that I do. Thank God for Science of Mind. Thank God for prayer. Thank God for Ernest Holmes. And thank God for me remembering that I'm not what happened to me. My authenticity is not, even they were asking me earlier tonight what I wanted to be called. I'm like, my name is Michelle. I'm not the title. And I'm not if I had degrees, I could say I'm not the degrees, but I don't have those either. I'm not those accomplishments. I am this essence of spirit that is the same essence that has inhabited your body. Your essence and my essence is one essence. And then what we decide to do with it is what we decide to do with it. But I am only willing to be me, untainted, undefended, no excuses. Which means sometimes you're going to like me and sometimes you won't. And it took me a long time to be okay about that. I'm not above wanting you to like me. I would really like you to like me. But I'm not willing to deny myself for that. Do you get that? And I know that some of you sitting here, I know that you do that. I know that you sacrifice a little bit of your authenticity. I know that you sacrifice a little bit of your peace of mind to work your way into a group or into acceptance. Can anybody own that with, like sometimes we do that. It's not bad. I don't want to make it bad. But what I do want to point out is that when you are in the middle of doing that, you're not being you, the beautiful you. And, I have 3 grandchildren. And anybody knows me, I can get pretty annoying about them because while they're, they too can be annoying, they're just perfect in my eyes, right? And I watch them. I watch to see how. I'll give you an example. My son got married last week, right? And so they call the wedding party, and then, of course, the parents of the bride and the groom up into the bridal suite, and we're giving instructions. They're going to bring us down. They're going to introduce us to the whole wedding. And my grandson was in the room, and I didn't understand why, because he was in the bridal party. But so was my granddaughter, and when she came to the door, they didn't let her in, and I didn't really understand what that was about. So what happens is I'm trying to remember, not my circus, not my monkeys, not my circus, not my monkeys. But it was really hard. Number one, I do weddings, right? And I'm pretty good at orchestrating things. And I kind of see something coming, but I'm trying not to be, codependent in this whole thing. And so what happens is the MC takes us and he starts introducing all of us. We walk down the stairs and blah, 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 blah. And I see my grandson still has not come down. The MC didn't give him instructions and didn't tell him to come down. So while we're all there and they're all loving the dances and all that, he's in the room. Now, my grandmother heart, I'm telling you, I am dying. And I turned to my eldest son and I said, go check on Will. And he went up there, and in that room, he's hysterical, hyperventilating, because he didn't know what to do. He's only 8. See, he's 8. See, that's how we, on our perfect trajectory of wholeness, how we get sideswiped. No ill intent. But if I could have told something to that MC without it getting back to my son and his wife, I would have tore him up. But I didn't. I was well behaved. But that's how it happens. It happens with innocence. So suddenly he has this experience, and what I know because in all my forgiveness classes and all my shadow classes, I see people working on stuff that they didn't even realize mattered to them. So later on, when there was a quiet moment, I found him sitting outside with my son. I said to him, Will, I want you to know I'm really sorry that happened. If I could have orchestrated it differently, I would have done something. But what I'm trying to tell you is, you and I carry things. We carry things. We carry little things and we carry large things. Most of it, not all of it, some of it's kind of intentional, because life is like that. But most of it are things that no one meant to harm you with. Most people, most of our parents, not all, but most of our parents didn't wake up every day and saying, wow, how can I screw her up today? Most of them didn't do that. But due to their own ignorance and their limited skill set, you and I have to live that out. Usually what I say to my sons is that you'll work it out in therapy. But I'm now, at the age of 67 years alive, I'm unwilling to be anything but me. I'm unwilling to be, to be any pretense. I I would rather you not like me for who I am than like me for a fake version of myself. You catch that? So to be authentic to me is to be gloriously your version of God, is to be God as you. And I want to talk about authenticity. Authenticity, I'll give you a description. Authenticity is a quality of being true to oneself, expressing thoughts, feelings, and actions in a genuine and sincere way. It means aligning who you are inside with how you present yourself to the world, without pretense or trying to meet others' expectations. Not a simple thing. Not a simple thing. Being authentic is not about being so coldly honest that you vomit your opinions all over people. Although I did that 2 weeks ago in Hazel's church, and I made the mistake and spoke about the Eagles. But I won't make that mistake tonight. I won't, especially since my good friend here practically has an entire room in his basement dedicated to them. It is not an excuse to be cold or cruel. It is not about saying things like, well, this is me, take it or leave it. All right? It is not about using honesty as a justification for hurting someone's feelings or being harsh. Now, am I responsible for your feelings with what we teach in Science of Mind? No. But I'm also responsible for my impact. I want to be clear. I know when I've said something and I've left an ouch. You know it too, right? Matter of fact, I'm going to jump. The other day, I have a little 3-year-old, and she asks for music all the time in the car. We're playing something, and this song comes on about bully, bully, bully. I'm always going to love you, and I'm going to forgive you, but I'm always going to love you. And I thought, wow. It felt like they were instructing children to be doormats, which is something we spiritual types can make a mistake. Sometimes we think the way to be spiritual is to be completely accepting and allow ourselves to be beat up. Do you know what I'm referring to? No, you're supposed to be powerful. Powerful, not a wimpy version of yourself because you're spiritual. All's good. No, when you're really authentic, you're in your power. You are plugged in and aligned to the one. So it's also about never evolving or refusing to grow, thinking, this is just who I am and I won't change. True authenticity is about being in touch with your truest God spiritual life essence, about aligning with your values and acting from them, about expressing your truth with compassion and understanding for others, about embracing personal growth and allowing yourself to evolve over time, about being honest with yourself even when it's uncomfortable and acting with integrity, about respecting others' experiences while staying true to who you are, and about living in a way that reflects inner harmony between your thoughts, words, and actions. To me, being authentic means I have stripped away the labels. I have stripped away the conditions of humanity. I've let go of my opinion of myself. I don't really have to check in with each one of you. I know that probably somewhere throughout a day, unless you are a meticulously careful thinker, you think thoughts about yourselves that are unkind. One hand, 2 hands. Yeah, thank you. I mean, if we're really honest, and sometimes it doesn't come out direct. It comes out by allowing fear to own us, by allowing doubt to own us, by thinking that we can't do something, right? But the truth is, and we have a couple of younger people here tonight. So often my crowds are all gray hairs. And in that age group, we think that we're done. We're not done. The world needs each one of us. the world, this planet. Oh, by the way, you know about the saying, creating a world that works for everyone? The reason why it doesn't say creating a world that works for all is because it's already copyrighted. Just so you understand that's why that is. Yeah, you're welcome. Because we've all, the ministers, we love to argue about stupid stuff. And so we were all like, yeah, we want a world that works for all, not just people, like animals, but it's taken. So that's why we can't have it, just to let you know. Little education there. But the world needs the people like you and I who are willing to see past limitation and willing to see potentiality and willing not to buy the bullshit of the planet that's being spoon-fed to us about being separate from each other, about not loving each other. And the only way that critical mind or that voice wins is if you and I allow it. I probably wasn't supposed to say that on your, it's okay. Do you understand? We can't allow anyone to tell us that we shouldn't be loving each other. We can't allow that. We ate dinner tonight with Ray. What was the name of the restaurant again? True Food. And we had the sweetest gay waiter. I looked at him, I'm like, oh, there he was in all of his glory. It was beautiful. He was coiffed. I mean, you would think he was on a runway somewhere, right? He was dressed, he looked good, his glasses, everything was perfect. And I thought, oh, thank you, God. Thank you, God, that we at least are making room for those of us who walk a different walk. You know? I mean, I'm grateful. My community at one point, we ebbed and flowed over the years, and at one point we had a pretty large lesbian part of our community, and a lot of them were Puerto Ricans. In New Jersey, we have lots of Puerto Ricans, which is so great. And so the joke then was CSL was the Center for Spiritual Lesbians, or the Center for Spanish Lesbians. I didn't make that up, they did. But the point is, it was so beautiful that it was before the days of us needing to hang a flag. We don't hang a flag. They just knew. They knew because we communicated welcome. They knew because we hung in that authentic way of being. And to a couple of you who might have ever been to my community, I think you'll know that. You'll recognize that it didn't have to be spoken out. It just was. And that comes from being your authentic self. That comes from doing the healing work. And most of us, again, because I'm one of y'all, most of us walk around functioning on top of dysfunction. Things you don't quite notice, right? You don't quite notice them. You don't see that it's happening, but they're there. They're there. The other day, I sent an email to my ministerial body from people from all around the world, and I asked for prayer support. And it was surprising to me how many people thanked me for asking for that prayer support. Because so many people are afraid to expose their tough moments. And right now, my husband and I, we're dealing with a very serious health. It's nothing. A diagnosis. I'm not doing so well. I'm shaken, and I'm not at my strongest moments, and I'm tearful, and I'm not questioning my faith, not even for a second, but I'm navigating the humanity of it. But I also know that when he and I lean into each other, this is my husband Neil in the front seat, just in case you're wondering why I'm pointing to this man over here. When we lean into each other, we activate a love and a support, and we keep the conversation open and honest and authentic. I can't pretend to be okay. I don't have that. I'm one of those people. I can't play poker either. I can't do anything in pretense. I don't know how to do it, because you will read me in a second. In a second. But the reward and the joy of being authentic is the beauty of being able to navigate through life with more ease than I've ever been able to in my life. The whole month of September, September. I was away on the West Coast for almost 3 weeks. I was home for 4 days. And one of those 4 days is when we heard this diagnosis. And then 4 days later, I came back and went to Philadelphia for the Centers of Peace to serve them. So I was dealing with this new news and had to take this into this thing. It was tricky. It was tricky, I will tell you. It wasn't a simple thing. But what I've learned in that month of September, that all of the shadow work I've done and all of the forgiveness work that I've done and all the work I've done to grow my consciousness and my awareness allowed me to be able to navigate. I stayed in the homes of 5 different people. Have you ever had to do that? 5 people, all within a short amount of time. 3 weeks of not having my husband's coffee, of not having my own bed, like none of the comforts that we usually relate to as comfort. So I had to go into this space and go, okay, what does this look like? And then I had to blend in with that family for a few days. And then I went over here and blend in over there. And I am absolutely certain that is one of the rewards of doing the work. Because I wasn't carrying my wants and my needs and my expectations. I wasn't carrying the limitations of thinking, and I've had people stay in my home. I've had people stay in my home for a long time ago, especially in my first home, where we only had 1 bathroom and had to deal with people not being happy that had to share a bathroom. And I'm like, excuse me? I was one of 7 growing up. We had 1 bathroom in the house. There you go. So the point is, the reward is letting go of all of that stuff and being lighter and being freer. But in order to get there, you have to be willing to own it. You have to first be willing to own it. I hope for you all, I really do, I hope for you all that this Science of Mind teaching in this community continues to encourage you, and I use this word but metaphorically, strip naked of all the stuff that we carry throughout our lives and lean into each other, lean on the teaching and lean into each other. And I like to do this whenever I talk about this, and you're kind of spread out. But right now, if you're sitting next to someone, kind of lean into them a little bit. Just lean in. Just because that's what that is. Like, what a beautiful way. Yeah, look at it. Like, that's a whole different feeling, isn't it? I used to tell people in my community on Sunday, hold hands. Like to hold hands with somebody. Why? Because there's a love that connects us that becomes more palpable when we're willing to lean in and lean on each other. So you and I have the perfect technology to let go of our stuff. That technology is spiritual mind treatment. There's no better technology on the planet than, and I know not everybody likes to call it prayer, whether you call it prayer or spiritual mind treatment. In my books, if you do take one, I call it mind shift, because I'm trying to be able to also reach the secular world, right? But we have the most perfect technology for shifting, for shedding, and for embracing the possibility of our fully authentic selves, where you're not worried about what anybody thinks ever again. Doesn't that sound like a dream? Imagine not caring. Think about that for just a second. To not be so consumed by anybody else's opinions that you walk in and out and like, yeah, okay. Doesn't that sound like freedom? This technology is about freedom. So if you purchase a book tonight, good for you. I would love for you to do that. But we teach classes on a regular basis. I invite you to sign on our email list tonight, find out about them. People fall in love with themselves. Some people become prayer partners with somebody for years. For years, I meet people all around I meet people I've never met before when I finally do some traveling, and they tell me they've been treating together for 5 years, 10 years. Because once they understood how much that technology supported their embrace of themselves, they never wanted to stop doing it. We also have a retreat happening in the beginning of December. I know many of you are going to Egypt, right? Yep, you're going to go to Egypt. But get on my email list and pay attention to what we're doing. And the reason is because you are going to be revealed to yourself in the most beautiful and authentic way that anybody could possibly do that. Yes? Let's treat. And I do not follow the same code, so bear with me. Take a breath, if you will. Let it go. Know with me right now that there is a power and a presence and love, a glorious essence, this sweetness of possibility, of potentiality, as it flows in, through, and as each one of us, as it becomes the very breath that we breathe and the beating of our heart and the flow of the blood in our body temple. That intelligence that created us is so happy to show up in, through, and as us. It is so happy. All it wants is ready, willing vessels. And so I declare on behalf of everyone listening now or at another time that we continuously become more and more available. That you and I find the courage and the wherewithal to strip away our limited thinking, our limited ideas, to let the full God presence of us be our one and only reality. Let nothing stand between us and our God. Nothing. Oh, for this and so much more. I am so, so incredibly grateful. And with full faith and conviction, I surrender this word to love, to law, and to the awe of life itself. And so it is. Thank you. Can I sit over here? Because you're going to want me to do questions? I'll sit here.
We're doing questions?
I thought never mind.
I didn't know about questions. We can do questions. I'm open to that. All right. Whew. Oh, I'm all filled up. Thank you so much. Really touched my heart. I don't know what I'm supposed to do now. Let me look at my notes. So we're going to do our prosperity treatment. And here. All right. So stay with me if you choose our prosperity affirmation, and then we'll have some music with Ray. I choose to celebrate prosperity. Divine love blesses my gift. It is my acceptance of God as the source of my abundant supply. With joy and gratitude, I share my abundance with the center. In doing so, I am one with the law of circulation. My tithe goes forth to heal, to prosper, and to bless. It returns to me multiplied abundantly. I am prospered, and so it is.
I had another song in mind for the offering, but I'm going to do this one now. Lean on me when you're not strong, and I'll be your friend, and I'll help you carry till I'm gonna need somebody to lean on. Please swallow your pride, for I have things you need to borrow for. No one can fill those of your needs that you won't let show. You just call on me, brother, when you need a hand. We all need somebody to lean on. I just might have a problem that you'll understand. We all need somebody to lean on. Lean on me when you're not strong, and I'll be your friend. I'll help you carry on. Oh, it won't be long till I'm gonna need somebody to lean on.
Absolutely fabulous. What a wonderful evening. Reverend Michelle, would you mind coming up and joining me in a closing statement? Sorry. If you have any questions for her, she's open to questions tonight, apparently. Have any questions?
I might have confused another community, but that happens sometimes.
That's all right. That's okay.
What am I doing?
Well, typically at this point, Dr. Maxine would say some kind of like closing thing.
Oh, the affirmation.
Yeah, some kind of.
Okay, I got one for you.
Okay.
You ready?
Yep.
I accept myself exactly as I am.
I accept myself exactly as I am.
And as I am not.
Ooh, and as I am not.
Is that good? Okay, good.
All right. So thanks again, everyone, for joining us. And we're going to do our closing song. So we typically invite you, if you want, to come up into the front here, and we hold hands and sing a song. We're starting to get good at this song, aren't we, Ray?
Yeah.
Are you proud of us?
Yeah.
Yeah.
We all come in a little circle here together. I'm coming down too.
Right.
That's good. It's good enough. Yeah, well, maybe the circle be unbroken then. May the grace of God bless man and every woman in this land. Stay strong and keep your faith alive. Whatever comes to meet us, no darkness won't defeat us. Stay strong and keep your faith alive. Some say the end has come, set our souls a run, but I say stay strong and keep your faith alive. Let's all come together, take care of each other. Stay strong and keep your faith alive. Raise your hand in the air, in the air. Stay strong and keep your faith alive. Take a stand, say a prayer. Stay strong and keep your faith alive. Hand in hand, side by side, with hearts open wide. Stay strong and keep your faith alive. And brothers, find a way with heaven here today. Stay strong and keep your faith alive. Raise your hands in the air. Stay strong, keep your faith alive. And take a stand and say a prayer. Stay strong and keep your faith alive. Well, it's times like these we need to remember what is real. Stay strong and keep your faith alive. United in our quest, just bring love and happiness. Stay strong and keep your faith alive. Here we go. Raise your hands in the air. Stay strong and keep your faith alive. Take a stand, say a prayer. Stay strong and keep your faith alive. Raise your hands, say in the air. I said stay strong and keep your faith alive. Take a stand, say a prayer. Stay strong and keep your faith alive. Isn't that a great song? It's what I found out in another practice room. He played that and I'm like, oh, I'm taking that. Isn't it? Two chords in the truth.